Hello and welcome to Inside Edition to discuss national, regional and international issues in depth. Being the leading educational institution in the kingdom, the University of Bahrain is witnessing a transformation process in which it is positioning itself to provide leadership through providing the kingdom with the high-quality graduates who can compete successfully in the national and global labor marketplaces. It also intends to conduct high-quality applied research that is appropriate for the needs of the kingdom as it increasingly diversifies its economy. This will not only lead to a more prosperous citizenry, but it will also become an acknowledged center of excellence recognized by Bahrain's most significant industries. With various challenges and great aspirations, the University of Bahrain is keen to contribute effectively to the various aspects of the National Economic Vision 2030. To talk more about this issue, we are joined today by the President of the University of Bahrain, Professor Riyadh Hamza. But first, this for more.
The University of Bahrain organized the official receiving of the 2019 QS University Ranking Award. The university was ranked among 1,000 global universities, which marks a tremendous achievement for the Kingdom of Bahrain.
We are very happy to find that the University of Bahrain is within the top 1,000 university worldwide, and for University of Bahrain to be the #1 in the Kingdom of Bahrain, and also to have the University of Bahrain's graduates, the academic reputation of our graduates, to be ranked 411 globally.
The University of Bahrain has also achieved progress in the 4 of the 6 factors used for evaluating university performance: employer reputation, academic reputation, citations per faculty, and international faculty ratio. It has ranked 411 globally in employer reputation.
There are many criteria that go into the evaluation of the university. One of the main criteria is the citation of research and research itself, where we have been excelling and partnering with international universities to provide contribution to knowledge and being part of the global change in research.
The QS World University Rankings identify the leading universities in the world by conducting year-on-year comparisons to measure performance and achievements. As a higher education institution, the University of Bahrain has been able to qualify for this ranking and to compete globally.
Rankings have a twofold approach. One, it helps students identify international universities and help them choose the best university for them. Rankings are able to capture that to a great extent, wherein it does put a lot of pressure on institutions to be accountable to the government, to the board of trustees, to the students, current students, to alumni. So it's a reflection of where the institution has, or what's the progress of the institution it is making across the board.
The Kingdom of Bahrain continues to achieve a series of accomplishments, and this award is an international recognition in the abilities of the Kingdom of Bahrain, especially in the education sector. Reporting for Bahrain International, I am Mohamed Yusuf.
Welcome back. Joining us here in the studio now is Professor Riyadh Hamza. Thank you very much for being with us today. Professor, first of all, we would like to congratulate you on being ranked 25th out of more than 1,000 Arab universities according to the Quacquarelli Simrum, or the QS World University Ranking of 2018. Tell us more about the QS World University Rankings and the procedures taken by the University of Bahrain in order to actually gain this global status.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for having me here today with you. And the QS ranking is one of the ranking that look at the universities around the world. The QS is looked at their numbers by World Bank and a lot of other institutions. So the university was also, let me just say that ranking is a result of your work.
Yes.
You know, it's not a strategic goal, okay, let's be ranked this. But of course, you work hard and you hope that this is is translated into a good outcome.
Yeah.
Yes. So the QS ranking, they look at the universities globally, and they look at the different regions.
Yeah.
So we have a global ranking, and that puts us in the best top 5% in the world.
Yes.
And also, when it comes to the reputation of our graduates, it puts us in the top 2% in the world.
Wow.
And in the Arab region, which they do also, different parts of the world, we were ranked 25, and that is out of almost more than 1,000 universities.
Yes.
So that is, for us, is satisfying.
It's a huge number.
Especially
Perfect.
that we jumped from 42 to 25 within 2 years or so. So,
Magnificent.
yes.
Magnificent. I mean, that by itself is just the declaration of how much work was really put behind getting to that ranking.
It's a teamwork, and 2 years ago we had a transformational plan, and we said these are the things we want to do at the university, different aspects, academics, the infrastructure, the rules, regulation, and so on and so forth. And then we just start working on that.
Yeah.
And luckily, these are the results.
Perfect. Well, the Kingdom of Bahrain will soon celebrate its centenary of formal education, which was first launched in early 1900s. How do you value the outstanding development of higher education throughout those years in Bahrain? Where has it been and where it has become now, or what it has become now?
Well, the drive for education and higher education in Bahrain and the society, actually it is rooted way back in history. Bahrainis love to learn. Bahrain always been a hub for cultures and civilizations and so on.
Yes.
So it is not as surprising to see when the schooling started in Bahrain last century. It progressed so fast, from 1, 2 schools till now you see hundreds and hundreds of schools. And not only that, also along the way came the higher education.
Yes.
First in the 60s in the form of colleges to prepare teachers, males and females.
Yes.
And also the College of Health Sciences in 1978. And then, of course, the University College of Bahrain and the Gulf Polytechnic that merged together, forming the University of Bahrain in 1986.
Yes.
After that came the era also of the private higher education, with the private universities, that is in 2001, 2002, and so on. And then, of course, we entered the era of having initiative to reform education.
Yes.
And one of those is having the College for Teachers, Bahrain Teaching College, which is we are very proud of to be part of our colleges within the university.
Of course. Professor, one of the things that University of Bahrain prides itself very highly for is the research that comes out of the University of Bahrain, not just from the students, but also from the faculty. We actually had an interview earlier or before with the head of the academic study and higher education, and he mentioned the massive number of researchers coming from all of the colleges. How important is research now for the 2030 vision that is coming up?
Well, let me just say that knowledge is produced in universities, and it is produced because of research.
Yes.
Of course, one of the aspects that the university has is teaching, but in addition to that, of course, is research, innovation, and so on and so forth. So the university, within our transformation plan, we wanted to extend our postgraduate studies, and that is important for research. And also in encouraging our staff to go for scientific publications and to go for publications that are really prestigious and were respected around the world, and also to make sure that other staff cites their publications, because that makes a lot of sense, that a paper, scientific paper, is more meaningful, of course, to the world if people use it as a reference, and so on. So this year we have witnessed a high number of publications, and we broke all our records of the last few years.
Correct, and even the citations, there were massive numbers of citations on these resources, as you said. Well, the university has also launched its transformational plan, as you said, in 2016 to 2021 with various ambitious goals and strategic pillars. What can you tell us about those plans and its pillars?
Well, you know, the world is changing, you know. Technology is changing, the economies of the world, the demographics, climate change, you name it, the environment, the natural resources. So a university has to respond to all that, and has to respond to the changes in the labor market and the competitiveness of the economies. So we wanted the university to be proactive, focused, progressive, and student-centered, and so all these things we had in mind for within the transformational plan. So we focused on having different specialties. You know, nowadays we are seeing some specialties that are going away from the labor market, and new ones being introduced, and so on. So that's why we introduced so many programs. And also we looked back at some of programs, and then we enhanced them too. So these are the things that of course, infrastructure we also looked at. You want to create the right environment for the students. Environment that is conducive of giving and learning and being creative and so on. So these are the things that are within the transformational plan that we focused on.
Perfect. Well, when it comes to the transformation plan and also to the rankings of the QS, a lot of things are considered within the ranking, from it being the number of faculty members, the number of international students, the number of local students, the education of the faculty. What were the things where the University of Bahrain really did excel in when it came to the QR rating?
Well, you know, there are more than 10 aspects, different criteria for the ranking, and we always look at these numbers, and we want to enhance our things for our own quality too. So QS and other entities that do ranking look at the number of staff members and the ratio of students to staff, and also they look at how many international staff members you have, the diversity, and they also look at your publications, your citations, your the networking that you have with international universities and entities. That's for them is very important. Also the reputation of your graduates. That's why they have a lots of questionnaires for employers, and trying to see what do they think of our graduates, and so on. So these are the criteria they look at, and it is not an easy thing, because you're talking about so many colleges, and different colleges has different their situations, if you like. But we try our best to. But it's a teamwork.
It's a teamwork, exactly. Well, can you tell us more about the contributions of the University of Bahrain to the collective efforts of achieving the National 2030 Sustainable Development Goals?
Yes, well, the reference of the university that we use our transformation plan or our strategy comes from the 2030 vision, and also from the priorities set by government. So we do want our plans to match and to go along with these things. And of course now also we do look at the SDGs also. So it's a comprehensive work where we consider each of those things and try to have an execution plan for each of those goals. We do want Bahrainis to be the first choice of hiring. And that's why you want to give them the advantage of knowledge, training, skills, long life skills that it too, and so on. And we are very proud of our graduates, and you see them everywhere, and you see them important positions in different specialties.
Now, the SDGs are not something that is just to Bahrain or to our region. It's a world initiative. The whole world is basically trying to reach and develop in order to be able to have these 17 goals and to fulfill them. Is there international collaborations between the University of Bahrain and other global institutions in order to reach that level for the SDGs and finish these 17 goals?
Of course. I mean, the university is working very closely with the United Nations, with UNIDO, with UNEP, all these programs that we're working closely with. And we have certain initiatives. One of the things that we are just discussing and we're trying to achieve is with UNIDO is to have a certificate that we can issue to our students that they have completed a workshop on SDGs. That means it's spreading the awareness of that. We also have the first PhD programs in SDGs, and that is a program that comes or contributed by faculties from different colleges. So students can focus on issues in law or engineering or in physics or and so on and so forth. We look at gender, we look at issues when it comes to renewable energy, we look at all the other things, all the goals, the 17 goals. We do look at them and we focus on some, and we have great initiatives on some.
Perfect. The University of Bahrain has the keen interest in cooperating with these international parties, as you have mentioned. But can you tell us about the cooperations with other universities as well?
Yes. Well, the part of improving what we do and also is to select partners when it comes to universities or when it comes to labor market. In the last 2 years we worked with Oxford University, with Shanghai University in China, and we work with Loughborough, Austin University, Prince Charles institutions for the sustainability and so on. So and there are so many others. We like to work with universities so to improve our research, working together with others, to look at sometimes we get in touch with universities for validation of programs, for joint programs that we offer, and so on. So it is very important that we reach out for people and work with them. And at the same time, we try to find within the labor market companies, big companies to work with. Now we are working with Amazon, we're working with even the oil industry in Bahrain. So that is also important because they can provide our students with proper training and so on.
And diverse knowledge. I mean, their experiences are brought here and ours are given to them as well.
Absolutely. And not only that, sometimes even within in Bahrain we do excuse me, invite people to be from the industry to be on our different committees that look at curriculum, look at our research proposal and so on and so forth.
The development of human sources and educational curriculums are two major goals that must be achieved in all educational institutions. How do you at the UOB value the efforts to achieve them?
Well, it is very important. You know, you have to, human resources and the skills of your staff, of your students, has to be always a priority. For example, the University of Bahrain, we work closely as a partner, global partner, with the Higher Education Academy in UK, and that is to train our staff members on different new methodologies and teaching and so on, and we have certificates that we offer the staff once they finish their training. We also encourage them to, for example, some 200 of them finished a Microsoft certificate,
Okay.
and so on. So it is very important that you keep your staff knowing what's happening in technology, in teaching methodologies, and so on. And the same thing for the students, because you don't want just the curriculum itself, but you want also extracurriculum activities and certifications, professional, that you can give them to how to build a strong CV for the student even before he graduates. So that is for us is important. We have right now we are working with Babco, Canos companies here in Bahrain to train some of their staff, to receive them and so on. So that is important. Lifelong learning is very important, and takes a lot of work and focus, but it always have its results.
The University of Bahrain is especially proud of also providing the certain speakers from outside of the country or even inside the country about particular subjects, and then organizing lectures from these professors or these specialized consultants in their fields for the students. Is that something that will grow in the future, where you bring these professionals from all over the world in order for a certain field to be more magnified?
Well, that is something very important, mentoring, and to also inspire the students. Something is very important. So we always look at, and within the different colleges, look at successful personalities that can inspire the students in their fields. We also look at successful entrepreneurs. You know, they can come and talk to our students. A lot of them are very ambitious, and they are smart and creative, and they have great projects. We also want to give them that, keep that entrepreneurial spirit, if you like, within the students. So I find it equally important as the lectures within the classroom or so, to have people coming from outside and let the students listen to them and see. And we find that when we do bring personality from outside, we have, you know, these are attended by massive numbers of students. They do enjoy it.
Yes, we see that as well. Now, what are the procedures taken by the University of Bahrain to assess the outcomes of the educational performance?
Well, educational performance is, at the end of the day, is our graduates, right? And now with within the last ranking, and having our students being within the top 2% in the world, that's I think is a statement by itself.
Yes, of course.
And if we look at our graduates, they are everywhere in Bahrain, you know, with the great jobs, great performances in whatever they do. And wherever we go, they tell us that University of Bahrain graduates are their first choice of employment. And so that is wonderful. We see them CEOs, ministers, in media, in health professions, and lawyers, and so on. So we're talking about 60,000 graduates. That's a massive number. And it's amazing because each one of them also has a story to tell and to share. So we also look at, make sure that our program's okay, because we look at accreditations, international accreditations. We look at validation of our programs by other universities, international universities and teams and so on. So these are very important to make sure that your programs are top. We look at the training of our students, structured, for example, a training to make sure that they got all the skills they needed and so on. So it is a process, continuously looked and checked by the university.
And definitely, I mean, the University of Bahrain graduates, they don't just work in Bahrain. We see them in the WHO, we see them all around the world. I mean, I know for a fact the WHO that there are some of the old students from the health sciences college that are holding very, very high positions over there, and it fills people with pride to see that the University of Bahrain students are now part of these large entities. What can you say about them working in huge places like the UN, like the WHO, and so on?
That's really wonderful, and we always, whenever we hear somebody talks to us and say, I am a UAB graduate, fill us with the pride, really. And indeed, you see them everywhere doing great jobs.
Yes.
And they inspire others.
Yeah.
The student community in the University of Bahrain is amazing.
It is.
And our students really give their best. They are very creative. And sometimes I do go and look at their graduations projects, and they are just amazing, and they are wonderful. And we try always to bring in investors to look at some of those projects, and also maybe can adapt some of those we have right now. A business incubator also to encourage students to also take that opportunity and maybe do something with that. But yes, we do see them everywhere, and we have ministers, CEOs. Yes. They are everywhere.
Yes, as we said, Professor, the SDGs are a light point when it comes to the educational process, and especially the University of Bahrain has dedicated a lot of its programs in order to fulfill the SDGs. But another thing the University of Bahrain has done is collaborations with other universities, and now we have the British University that is being collaborated with. What can you tell us about the collaboration?
Well, it's always nice to have universities, sister universities around you. And of course, University of Bahrain is the largest universities, and we're talking about now with 27,000 students and almost 2,000 faculty, administratives, and academicians. Collaboration always makes sense, and strengthening the two universities that are collaborating. Yeah. We are hoping to see the lines of research within these universities, and we always encourage our staff to work with others. Yes. And to have initiatives for that. But we definitely, when it comes to some of those universities, we already worked with, for example, just 10 days ago, we had a big conference with RCSI. Yes. We're having one with the Arabian Gulf University very soon, and so on and so forth. So collaboration is part of a university business, really. Yes. And any universities that's gonna, shy away from collaboration will find themselves, a little bit kind of isolated. Yes. So we welcome working with all the universities in Bahrain and internationally, wants to work with us. Yeah.
And this is in benefit of your own students as well as the university's students of the other countries. And that's what takes me to my next point. When we come to the fact the University of Bahrain is massive. I mean, the campus is massive, the number of faculty is massive. You have so many specialties that people can choose from. But you still have plans to make that even bigger and better. So can you tell us a little bit about the future plans when it comes to the prospects of the educational pathway?
Well, of course, first academically, we are looking at new programs. We started programs in cybersecurity, in big data, and so on. And also, we want to have new infrastructures in terms of buildings and so on, and the government have given us the go-ahead with having a beautiful, nice, new College of Engineering. Beautiful. In Sakhir campus. Much needed. Yes, and also designed by famous architects. Yes. And so this is hopefully within the next months. We already, the Ministry of Work signed the agreement with the architect firms, the so it is within the next few months. We will see the the program, the progress of the project starting. So also there are in terms of computer labs and so on that we are working on, and we already started to have for big data and so on. So it is continuous. It's everywhere. The College of Business also is having a lot of new changes and so on. The College of Health Sciences, we are trying to have also a simulation lab and so on.
Great, great.
So
perfect. Well, before we end the show, I have one question. Now, recently you were in Rome and you signed on with the Sapienza University on the chair of His Majesty the King for the study of peaceful coexistence. What can you tell us about signing that and how important that really is to Bahrain and also to the university and education process in our country?
Well, first of all, the University of Bahrain signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Spencer in November 2016 to exchange students, staff, to work together on new programs and so on. But of course, the big thing was to also attend the launching of the academic chair in the name of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, the King of the Kingdom of Bahrain, for the peaceful coexistence and interfaith tolerance and dialogue and so on. And this was a great ceremony that we attended in Rome, and the message was very clear, because this chair has the values, the beautiful values that the king had in his within his vision of the world. And so all the academicians that we met were very impressed with those values and what this chair is going to offer. Of course, the program, or this chair, will serve programs, bachelor, masters, and PhD. And so we also at the University of Bahrain looking forward with working with La Spencer University. And I had 8 students with me on the trip, and they as part of the exchange program, and they had a great time looking at the universities and seeing this university, which is one of the oldest universities in Europe. It is. And a university with 100,000 students and almost 3,500 faculty. And so on. So it is something very special to us, and we try to work together with the university on different projects very soon.
Very, very, very good. We've gotten to the end of our show, and just at the end, if you have any last words to tell us about hopefully the next high ranking that we're going to have and what your plans are for that.
Well, we're going to continue working hard to give our students better education and competitive, skills for them when they go to the labor market. And we hope that in our journey doing that, we get better ranking if it is, hopefully. So I congratulate everybody at the university who worked hard in achieving that, our students, our staff, and academicians, and our administrators.
Definitely, and they thank you for all of the hard work that everybody has put in order to get the University of Bahrain to that ranking. Thank you very much for being with us today, Professor. And we would like to thank you for watching, and see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.